SeaWorld Orlando is the most attended theme park in the SeaWorld chain, located along International Drive and conveniently right off of Interstate 4 between both the Universal Orlando and Disney World resorts. It's easy to see why. With so many major theme parks close by, this park tends to receive the most capital in the chain, having gotten 3 new roller coasters each a year apart from each other. This is a very beautiful park with an incredible variety of rides, attractions, and themed areas. It's part theme park and part zoo, which makes it very appealing to all ages. Let's break down this park. Welcome to Ejector Airtime, and this is my review of SeaWorld Orlando. Before we get into it, make sure you take the time to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future content. Also, be sure to take the time to give this video a like, as it really helps against the YouTube algorithm. SeaWorld covers an area of 200 acres and is located near many popular tourist attractions in Orlando. It's also not too far from Orlando International Airport, making it easily accessible to those visiting the area. Being so close to the major resorts like Disney and Universal, SeaWorld can end up being a great filler park to visit in between days experiencing the other major parks. It also doesn't tend to be as crowded as some of the other nearby parks, so it can be a great park to visit if you want to avoid the often crowded Disney parks. My latest visit was on a Wednesday in the middle of June, and most of the rides were either a walk-on or a station wait. With that, let's get into the rides. Starting with the coasters, SeaWorld has a very exciting collection with a lot of variety. At the front of the park is Manta, a B&M flying coaster that opened in 2009. This features your typical pretzel loop like many of the other flying coasters, which can offer some really intense positive Gs. In addition to this, it also has multiple zero-G rolls and the iconic drop by the water that can get you wet if you ride towards the back. This is definitely the most fun flying coaster I've been on. Journey to Atlantis combines elements of both a log chute and a water coaster. Opening with a very well-themed indoor section, it later sends you down a 60-foot drop in the middle of the ride and then a curved drop near the end. Regardless of where you sit, this ride is guaranteed to leave you drenched. Kraken is a B&M floorless coaster that opened in 2000 and was the first major thrill coaster to open at the park. Featuring a large vertical loop, an incredible zero-G roll and cobra roll, and a very whippy corkscrew right out of a tunnel. This has all the intensity and excitement of a classic B&M 7 inversion coaster. This was at one time my favorite coaster, during a time where I had less than 20 total credits. Being a walk-on during my first visit, I remember riding this thing 20 times in one day. During my return visit, I was excited to once again see that this coaster was a walk-on. And while it has developed a little bit of that B&M rattle over time, it's still a solid coaster. Penguin Trek is the newest coaster in the park. This B&M launched family coaster hits a top speed of 43 miles per hour, and it had the longest line in the park during our visit, peaking at a 70-minute wait. The ride starts off with a slow, dark ride section with projections before launching you outside. The theming elements that surround the coaster and the fact that it flies right over the park paths creates a great visual as you walk underneath. The exit includes a walk through several penguin enclosures, including a more open one that lets you get very close to them. The last one is very cold, so be prepared for that.
Walking next to penguins, and it is so unbelievably cold in here.
Mako is a B&M hypercoaster in the back of the park, and at 200 feet, this is the tallest coaster in Orlando. This is easily one of the best hypercoasters I've been on. It's a great showcase of speed and features many great moments of sustained floater airtime throughout the ride. I really like the sharp projections on the ceiling as the train exits each time, and the finale over the water is just breathtaking. Super Grover's Boxcar Derby is the smallest coaster in the park. This Zero family coaster is located in the Sesame Street section, and despite being a little bumpy, it offers a mild thrill for kids. Icebreaker is a Premier Ride Skyrocket model. This multi-pass launch coaster ended up really surprising me. Following the launch over that top hat, it features several strong ejector moments and a lot of snappy transitions. When I got off of Icebreaker, I made comparisons to Maverick at Cedar Point. That's how intense the transitions are. Don't sleep on this one. It's a short ride, but a very exciting one nonetheless. Finally, there's Pipeline, the first B&M surf coaster. This is a newer take on the stand-up coaster in which the seats are free to move up and down, which makes for a more comfortable ride experience than many of the earlier ones. I loved the feeling of being lifted off the ground during negative G moments. This is a very fun coaster, and I really hope that more parks order them to add to their lineups. I'll give my personal ranking of the coasters in a future video, so make sure you subscribe to the channel because you don't want to miss that. SeaWorld also features several other solid rides, including Expedition Odyssey, which is similar to Soarin'. The ride makes you feel like you're flying over the Arctic and gives a one-of-a-kind visual of many different creatures. Infinity Falls is one of the best river raft rides ever and features an incredible drop right off of that elevator lift. The Sky Tower is an observation tower in the middle of the park that gives a breathtaking view of the park and surrounding area, but unfortunately it was closed on our visit, so we did not get to see the view from up there. The Flamingo paddle boats also offer great views from the lake in the center of the park. Just keep in mind that this is an upcharge attraction. And of course, there are several great attractions for the kids in the Sesame Street section. In addition to rides, there are a number of incredible animal encounters in the park. And for many, the animal encounters are one of the park's biggest draws. You can get great views of sea lions, stingrays, manatees, turtles, dolphins, and sharks, among many others. My personal favorite is the shark encounter, and the aquariums by Journey to Atlantis and Manta are very impressive. I love the mixture of rides and animal exhibits, as it offers plenty of opportunities to experience great rides and take breaks to check out the animals in between. Some of the exhibits are indoors, allowing for air conditioning, which can be very beneficial for escaping the often humid weather of Central Florida. There's also several shows that have been staples of the SeaWorld chain for many years, including shows that feature sea lions, dolphins, and of course the Orca show. If you stay in the park's hill after dark, you'll get to see a great fireworks show over the lake. As if all of this wasn't enough, you can purchase add-ons to your visit that allow you to get close up to many of the animals. You can get personal experiences with the dolphins, penguins, sea lions, and even belugas. Time slots for these are limited, so be sure to check availability before your visit. I visited the park on a Wednesday afternoon in June and found that many of the rides were walk-ons or station waits. Penguin Trek had the longest wait of the day, with the water rides also having pretty decent wait times. Not too surprising with how hot it was that day. Some rides had a few inconsistent dispatches on my visit, but most lines still weren't too bad. Wait times are posted on the park app, so you can use this to determine whether or not you need to purchase Quick Queue. You can also use the app to purchase all other add-ons, including parking, rentals, and the dining plan. When it comes to dining in the park, a number of options are available. This includes familiar brands like Chick-fil-A and Starbucks, and even more varied cuisines such as those that can be found at Expedition Cafe. Rita's Italian Ice ended up being a perfect treat for such a hot day. One thing I really appreciated on my visit was being able to walk up to any food stand and get large cups of ice water for free. Not all parks I've been to are willing to do this, often just giving out really small plastic cups. With how hot it can get during the peak of the theme park season, large cups are considered a major green flag for me in any park that I visit. Another green flag was the overall appearance of the park. SeaWorld is a very brightly colored park with buildings and rides sporting very vibrant colors. I love the lighthouse at the entrance, which offers a very nice photo op as you enter and leave the park. There's also a nice variety of natural beauty, especially with the different trees you see around the park. There are plenty of areas in the park that allow you to get out of the sun and enjoy some shade, but be sure to bring some sunscreen as there are some areas where shade is a bit more limited. When it comes to the future of SeaWorld Orlando, I hope they are able to add more attractions to the right side of the park near the front, as there aren't many rides between Pipeline and Icebreaker. I could see this park getting a dive coaster at some point due to their small footprint and strong appeal to the general public. Adding some more thrilling flat rides would be a good idea too, such as a drop tower or maybe an S&S Scream and Swing. Navigating this park is relatively easy. This is mostly due to its circling around the lake in the middle. There's also a bridge that cuts across the lake, and the views you get from here are pretty impressive. There's also a couple of dead ends towards the back, but returning to the main paths isn't too difficult. While the majority of paths in the park are flat, there are a few areas that can become challenging when it comes to accessibility, which I learned a lot about on this recent trip. So my girlfriend injured her foot prior to our visit, and she had to traverse the park on a knee scooter. Brick paths, some inclines, and areas with bumps or potholes made it difficult for her to get around. The park does offer wheelchair rentals, and this made it a lot easier for her when we visited Busch Gardens Tampa a few days later. Another challenge with accessibility is the limited number of rides you can get on. We had to get a sheet from guest services when we entered the park that would allow her quick and easy access to the rides she could get on. But there was one frustrating aspect that went along with these sheets. So the ride op signs the sheet and sets you up with a time to return to the ride in which you are able to board the ride straight from the exit. However, you're not able to get onto another ride until the previous one has been signed off. So you can't have it signed for one ride and then go ride another one during your time span in which you're waiting. While we were not a fan of this, we were pleased with the fact that we did not have to wait long when it was finally our time to ride. Despite this, our visit was a lot of fun. All major rides were open, the park wasn't too crowded, and the number of air-conditioned buildings in the park made it easy to escape the Florida heat. With so many major parks nearby, SeaWorld Orlando often gets overshadowed, but I highly recommend you leave a day open in your next visit to Orlando so you can visit this park. There's also an adjacent water park called Aquatica. While I have yet to visit, I did drive by and it looks like it would be a great experience as well. SeaWorld also owns the Busch Gardens Parks and Adventure Bay Water Park in Tampa, so if you'd like to get a better value out of your trip, you can go online and purchase a 2-day combo pass that grants you access to your choice of any 2 SeaWorld properties. Busch Gardens Tampa is only about an hour drive from Orlando, so if you enjoy the zoo aspect of the park, Busch Gardens is another park that I highly recommend. I will be releasing a review of this one very soon. For now, that's going to do it for this video. Be sure you subscribe to Eject Your Airtime so you don't miss the next video, and also give this video a like. Thank you so much for watching.